Hello, I'm Chris. Reality Shadow Band is back again, and today I'm gonna be doing a watch along with Ken Chow or Sao Cow. I don't know. He's Chinese. I think he's from the mainland, and then he like explores. It's not clear. You can go look at his videos to find out where he's. But he's Chinese. He's familiar with what's going on over there. And I remember this DeepSeek thing that came out. People are freaked out. The stock market crashed. He'll go into it a little bit. But it was like, what is going on here? This seems like this is interesting how they can just leapfrog us. And then, well, there's a little bit more to the story. They're just like, oh, they're so much more advanced, so much more technically advanced. It's like they just stole a bunch of stuff. Like you look into it, it's like so every story that comes out like this, we have to remember, like, it's just really good to remember that this is probably bullshit. If it's some kind of amazing, oh my god, the breakthrough, the amazing breakthrough, it's like we're kind of like come that hasn't happened in a really, really long some amazing breakthrough. That hasn't happened in a really long time. This LLM stuff was actually brewing for about 35 years. Like the only reason it kind of blew up is because they took a crazy strategy of like guessing the next word and building models based on guessing the next word. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is sentient. It's like, no, no, this is a statistical model. There's lots of the amount of data behind it is really too much for a human mind to even try to comprehend and how it actually operates and what it's actually doing on the inside. It's like very simple, stupid operations. Just like how the model of our neurons is supposed to be this really simple thing. It's like, bro, it's not because it's actually not where the neuron interaction is not where the consciousness is happening. It's happening somewhere else. And that's, we can get into that if you want to. I think I do a little bit on this channel. All right.
You
Let's let Ken cook a little bit. Okay.
ever notice how every 6 months China declares it is having a Sputnik moment? Yeah, the same country that censors Winnie the Pooh now thinks it is launching satellites of innovation. Please, let me tell you what really happened with China's so-called AI miracle,
I think he got the hair coloring. That's what happened. No, I'm just keep
DeepSeek.
going, Chris. Shh.
Spoiler, it is
Okay.
not Sputnik. It's smoke and mirrors with a Beijing accent. In January this year, Chinese tech firm DeepSeek drops a new open
Deep
source AI
seek.
model. They
Yeah.
brag it can mimic human reasoning,
Yeah. Right.
match or surpass US models at just 1/20th at the cost.
I mean, mimic. I guess that's kind of true. It kind of can seem that way because the ELISA effect. If you know what that is, you can look that up on Wikipedia. There's a pretty good article about it. Wikipedia is usually a piece of shit, but on some of the stuff that's already been verified and not controversial, like the ELISA effect, where people think that they're typing on a machine because it's text is coming up, and usually the text comes from other humans. That's usually where it's coming from, and we can't discern whether it's been made by a machine or not. And that's the mimicking he's talking about. But it's like human reasoning, human guessing of words, like a superhuman level statistical model guessing of words. Okay, maybe, but like they talk of so they. This is like when you know they're in the gray area because if they had actually, this is the thing. If they actually had what anywhere near what they said they had, 2 years ago, all the companies on the stock market would have been taken over by at least one company. All companies would be Amazon. Whoever had that technology, who had the server farms to actually do this human level reasoning, well, they're going to make them into lawyers. They're going to make them into clerks. They're going to make them into uh, PR agents. They're going to make them people doing telemarketing phone calls. Like they'll call everybody in the United States several times over, have Zoom meetings with them, have avatars of people that look like people. I have no idea that they're not people, but they look like people. They're acting like people. And this would be happening just a matter of a few weeks if they actually had anywhere near what they say they have, but they don't. All they have is this guessing thing, and they've, another stock, yet another. Oh, look at this, another stock pump scheme where people that are into been programmed with sci-fi AI agents for the last 30 years about, oh, it's gonna take over humanity. It's like only through the ELISA effect that could because we believe it. Oh, look, the machine said launch the missiles. I guess I gotta.
Overnight, the headlines scream China has arrived. Markets freaked out. US tech giants tied to AI, Microsoft, Nvidia, Oracle, Google, they lost nearly $1 trillion in market value. Nvidia alone got
And
slaughtered.
that just to tell you the whole stock market thing is a massive bubble. If people get that skittish and that panicky after just like a slight improvement of the cost basis, they just lose their shit. Come on. Okay, let's keep going.
Down 20%, wiping out 600 billions the next day.
Yeah.
Commentators even whispered, is this the new Sputnik moment? Well, let's pause. Sputnik was 1957. The Soviets lobbed a beeping ball into space,
Yeah, this guy went to Yale, by the way, so let's keep going.
and the world panicked. America responded by revamping education and doubling down on science.
Right.
Result? The US leapfrogged the Soviets and owned the digital revolution.
Correct.
By 19
Yeah, that was see that is a move. Why don't we talk about that move? That when we got freaked, when the United States was still a normal, semi-normal country, and the Russians were obviously leapfrogging us, that they went into the education and said, "Oh wow, we just make the kids smarter, not military industrial complex grants." No, 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 no. That wasn't going to do it. And they wasn't military. They had cannons, guns, they had tanks, all kinds of shit. They said, no, we need to do the education to get the kids involved. And that's when we had this bump of the science stuff. Wasn't the military industrial complex. Now, those people eventually grew up and went into the military industrial complex, and became this juggernaut thing. Yeah, true, but look at where it started with the kids, by making a real effort to teach actual science that had no particular end. Well, it did at the with lots of emphasis on rocket space, getting launching stuff, ballistics, dual use technologies. Yeah, there was a big push on that. There was massive, lots of groups of people. My stepdad, who went through these programs, he's like, yeah, we had a astronomy thing. We had rockets we were launching. It's like, you had what? Yeah, the government gave us grants for. We had a whole telescope set up, a high tech observatory. I'm like, you had what? I was like, yeah, they had like after school programs where everybody's like, we had made rockets and we talked about computer stuff. And then, Silicon Valley, they had a whole people like coming from industry and teaching children how to do all these digital electronic stuff. Small children, like 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, have these your electronics clubs, and they're all like, yes, you must do this. This is for the great of the nation. And you're doing, not only is this really super interesting, that you're actually going to help out the country and it's your patriotic duty, all that shit. And that turned into the boomers. The boomers still there. They grew up with that. It's like, yeah, that's what we're given. It's like, well, that wasn't given to us. I mean, we didn't see any of that shit. It's like, what do you mean? It's like, have you not been paid? It's like, no, we haven't paid attention. We're just doing our own thing. We're working at these things. We're making money.
1990, Gorbachev stood in Silicon Valley admitting all the concepts of the future are being born in California. His general had already said it bluntly. The Cold War is over. You won. Computers.
Well, that was negotiated. Let's be real clear about that. They so Russia got to win the Cold War with the nuclear weapon stuff, and we got to do the space war, which we told them, oh yeah, the Cold War, yeah, you really beat us fair and square and all bullshit. Even though we gave them all the nukes, almost everything they have, and we're like, we'll let you win, but if you agree with us, then we get to win the space race. And the Russians are like, who gives a fuck about space? We're the biggest ones. Like, yeah, you're the one, you won, you win. And they're like, okay, I guess we win. Like, and then they collapsed. And then like, but we won the space race. Look at us. And 50 years later, we haven't still been back to the moon. It's like, did we really win? We won the MK Ultra. Population believes that we actually went and did all that stuff that we say we did, which we can't do again. And we lost the technology and we can't figure it out. Like, come on now.
Are the new tanks. And in America, even 5-year-olds have them. So
Right.
What did Sputnik prove? That a flashy headline doesn't equal lasting power.
Correct.
In fact, Sputnik moment has become a negative phrase.
Yeah.
An illusion that
It's so like tone deaf for the Chinese to go, oh, it's our Sputnik moment. It's like, what are you talking about? That was a joke, dude. That was the beginning of the end for you. Unless you had about 1,000 more of those things coming on the pipeline that you already had lined up, ready to go. Your little flash in the pan, launch this up in an orbit. That wasn't actually that impressive. Let's be real honest about it. We have kids today that could do that if they were allowed to. Or they were allowed to like set stuff into orbit, but they're not allowed to. But national security.
collapses, which makes it hilarious that Beijing is now bragging about their Sputnik moments.
Right.
And collapse it did. Within days, US Commerce Secretary torched the hype by revealing that DeepSeek
Yeah, but most people didn't hear this part.
only looked cheap because it was powered by stolen US tech. OpenAI confirmed.
Let's be real honest, it's all stolen tech. Let's keep going.
Their models were ripped off.
Yeah.
And turns out DeepSeek had 50,000 NVIDIA chips.
Let's be real honest about all this stuff, like this AI stuff. This stuff was discovered a long time ago and was being used before the public was allowed to even look at this stuff. It has already been used for doing all kinds of revolutions all around the world. It's pretty obvious if you haven't heard We're gonna figure it out. Like all the bots, like 50% of the traffic on the internet's bots. Like, what do you think it's like? It's military operations. They've been exposed doing this stuff for long. They have a whole divisions in the military that do psychological operations, psyops. We just all run on this stuff. So they already know where it goes. So now they're doing another thing with it. They're trying to fool us into thinking that we're going to have some kind of future where this is going to be taking us over. It's like maybe 50 years from now, but not anywhere near soon. Not in our lifetimes, anywhere alive today. But the kids maybe getting born right now, maybe have a problem with it. And by then it'll be like we're gonna be on something else. So, but they're pulling out the hype wave because it does mimic this human thing. But if you really push it as a software developer, that we're trying to push these things. If it was already there, like I said, Amazon would take over everything within a few weeks. Shouldn't this be obvious? Do you think that they wouldn't just do that if they had this technology or you were near it, you were close to it? Think it through, please. Just like I'm not the only one figuring this stuff. I'm surprised this isn't mentioned more. That if we actually had anywhere near what they said, these programs would be self fixing, self modifying, and then to the point where you have human level intelligence on these things, which can make the programs better, which can then boot up to a actual human level intelligence that they're saying, and then they can have these agents go do these things like telemarketing calls and run for senator and become a senator. Get all the votes, do the gerrymandering, do all the political calling, do all the debates with a human looking person who looks very, very human, but they're not. And this would be already underway, or maybe it is already.
Hardware that was supposedly export controlled rerouted through Singapore. Jensen Huang chased a little side profit and ended up feeding the beast.
Yeah.
Regret came too late. And the cherry on top? Users found DeepSeek was just Chinese state media in chatbot form. Ask about Cultural Revolution, Taiwan, or Xi Jinping,
Yeah.
and it just spewed boilerplate CCP propaganda. The
Yeah.
party always
Well, this is what they all do. Our whole culture's running on this kind of stuff. Here's the other thing too. These LLMs are just trained on the culture. What are the culture supposed to be on Reddit posts or whatever the fuck? Whatever the hell. Books. Okay, so it's just our culture, right? Which is all saturated with this mind control operation shit, man. I'm like, why would you better believe the Chinese better put this shit in there? You better believe the Americans are gonna put that stuff in there. Because what are we doing now? Search is dropping. Google search. People aren't doing naked searches anymore. They're all going through, or they're reading the top paragraphs, which are easily modifiable, incomprehensibly small over time until people just trust that thing and they don't even look at all. Like most people are doing that now, and we're just fresh into this thing. But still, we're at the point where it's actually still kind of reasonable and decent. But don't expect that's going to last forever. You better believe state. Why wouldn't they want the mass morons? The people that aren't looking deeply into this stuff. Like, look at the numbers of people who subscribe to my channel. Like, this is like you're probably only 5 people that know ever even think about this kind of shit. To be in this part of this video, listen to me ramble on. Look, man, all this AI stuff, they have to use it to control the masses because there's too many dumb people and they're useless. And you have to put them to use or kill them. And that's the other thing, too, is like, this is the plan, is to kill people. This is what these leaders, these controllers, the Anglo, Israel, freaking British, American triumvirate, like circumflex, group, whoever's at the top of this, they want to kill most of the people. They actually say this in their books. It's like all you have to do is look into it a little bit and read and believe what they say and their little innuendos. It's not even innuendo. They want to get rid of people. They want to get rid of most people. And if they can get a machine in a data center to do 98%, 99% today, all they know is that, all we have to do is pump money into that thing, and it will be 99.9999%, which is better than the humans now. So we can get rid of the people. This is the plan. They make it public. It's not hidden. And part of it is dumbing the people down to the point where they can't resist what's gonna happen. Yeah, isn't that fun?
Puts people at the center. The Chinese people can distinguish right and wrong. Blah, blah, blah.
Now, that said, there's always going to be a vanguard. There's always a small group of people, the elite controllers know this, who will survive, will go off and do their own thing, won't be part of the system. And as long as they're not attacking back, and Orwell's 1984 made this very clear, right in the half middle of the book. He shows you the exit point, and then he shows you what happens if you go back. And we're going to take down Big Brother. We're going to take down the system, guys. We're gonna go get rid of those data centers, guys. Okay, you have about 10 more seconds to do that before the automated systems, the drone anti-drone systems come after your ass. You think they're gonna let that just slide? You got about 10 more seconds, guys, if you would think this is even possible, because they're about to wrap that part up. Yeah, they're about to wrap that part up, so you can't even attack these data centers. Or they'll let one or two go down. I'm like, oh, okay, now we have to harden them. Okay, and that's it. That's it. You're done. You either go along with exactly everything they say the moment they change it, or and good Heil Big Brother for like 5 minutes of hate, all that stuff, and anywhere else, or you go back into your antique level existence and live off the previous generation's technology, which seemed to be fine. We seem to be operating okay with what we had before. There's just a slight less inconvenient, slightly more inconvenient to do it the old way than it is the new way.
Congratulations! China built an AI parrot that makes its foreign ministry spokesperson obsolete.
Correct. And we just discussed why that's 100% necessary, why the elite controls must do it. They've said that they're going to do it. They've agreed that they're going to do it, and now they're doing it. So why is anybody shocked? The only people that are shocked are the people that haven't looked into this stuff before, are totally bought into the and totally enamored by the MK Ultra programming, which is really good. These guys are the best of the biz. There is no better.
And let's be clear, DeepSeek was never revolutionary to begin with. It's derivative, not original.
Yeah.
Training your model on pirated OpenAI outputs isn't innovation. It's academic plagiarism at industrial scale.
Yeah.
You don't get the Nobel Prize for copying somebody else's homework, even if you write it in.
I mean, the old Nobel Prize before it was corrupted. I mean, but it was maybe always corrupt. But here, like you're saying, nobody gets actual world changing technology with through awards anyway. But I get what he's saying. Like by just copying stuff or refining it, that is a part of the process that's necessary. There is the inventive part, which is like you're trying out all the possibilities, and let's see, most of them are going to be stupid and fail. Let's be real honest. And that when these models, here's another thing, the little secret. When these models are trained, it's randomly going to make mistakes billions of times. Like if you see the training, and then eventually it gets it. But all the mistakes that happen, it's like a mushroom cloud of mistakes with one thing that actually works. Yeah, it's so there's there's the exploratory process, and then there's the refinement process. Like once you get something that kind of works, yeah, you can refine it. And the Chinese are really good at that shit. And that's just a different type of skill set where it does take knowing how everything works and then trying little things that make it better, right? So it's a different type of thing where you're trying to converge onto something where you find one that's near it, then you're trying to converge into it. That's a different type of skill set. That's a refinement. That's a science. That's precision. That's measurement. It's very. We already know where we're going. We just want to make it better, finer. Like there's a part where like which way are we going? Like which way is the right way? Of the 360 degrees ways you can go. Oh, there's this way. And then there's the refining. Okay, this way, how do we make a bridge there? How do we make a highway there? How do we put a tunnel there or something to go through the mountain? All that stuff. That's the refinement process, right?
Mandarin. And it is massively subsidized, not sustainable on free market. DeepSeek's
Right.
low-cost miracle only exists because the Chinese state foots the bill.
It was a PR moment where they allowed the CCP or whatever they did economic damage. They took $600 billion out of the stock market within seconds. Like whoa! But that also should tell you how fragile all this whole thing is. Let's keep going.
Cheap labor, energy subsidies, and state-directed capital can make anything look cost-efficient for a quarter.
Right.
But real innovation isn't measured in government subsidies.
Right.
It's measured in whether the model can fund itself in the open market.
Right.
And plus, it is still a black box, not a platform.
Yeah.
The world's leading AI firms, OpenAI, Anthropic, Google DeepMind, they are building ecosystems, APIs, developer communities.
Let's be real honest. They're doing this open source whatever thing only to get market share. Once they get market share, you better believe they're closing that bitch down.
Spin-off startups. DeepSeek, a closed system that censors, filters, and bans any politically sensitive question. You can't build an ecosystem on top of a muzzle.
Yes, you can. But what we're talking about, Ken and I would like to have. I think it's only military is allowed to have that. I think that's national security shit because Well, just think about it.
At its core, it's a propaganda tool, not a productivity tool. Western AI is messy, sometimes too messy. But that chaos is where creativity happens.
Correct.
DeepSeek, by design, narrows knowledge instead of expanding it.
Yeah, I mean but that is a Chinese point of view. That's the refinement process point of view, right? That's part of making this stuff acceptable for mass consumption, which is only going to be necessary for the elite leaders that are really have the mind that were pushed to this shit. They kind of want to get rid of people, so they're going to use this thing to do mass mind control operations. This is what they're talking about. I'm not making this shit up. I'm not. Look, no tinfoil hat. Look, I'm bare skinned, open.
Imagine trying to write a research paper, design a product, or debate ideas using an AI that refuses to mention Tiananmen Square. That's not an assistant.
How much other stuff do they fail to mention? How much other stuff went through history that we have no idea about? Boy, we keep hearing all these revelations all the time, new information about JFK and the moon missions, and they keep on like changing the history as well. They keep on going back and revising stuff. We keep catching them at it. It's like, why are you revising this? I thought we went. I thought it was all legit, 100%, totally on top. Why are you going and editing history? Why are you doing that? We can see you now. We can see you now, and you can see what things you choose to edit, what things you let go of, and like what things we choose to concentrate on. Like it's one thing to concentrate on. How many other things are out there that we no idea, never heard of? Tuskegee, like, did those guys have any clue? No, they're being patriotic Americans, and they got fucking used like bad. Like, not the airmen, the fucking Tuskegee experiment people. They like gave them syphilis and let them get sick and die. Our government did that. They thought it was okay. It's the same government. They haven't changed. They never apologized for that shit. But if they did, it was like a just surface level, whatever. They didn't actually change anything. Let's be real honest. These guys are bastards. Come on.
That is a
Not all, not
babysitter to
all.
the CCP party line. Remember Sputnik? The Soviets shocked the world for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then they stalled because they didn't have the ecosystem to sustain real innovation.
Right.
DeepSeek is the same.
I mean, that's fun. Let's be real honest. That was just today. It could be done by high school students or college level students, freshman level. We just have enough knowledge now that that's not that hard. So it wasn't all that much of an achievement. It's just that America got caught slipping because we were having such a good party after winning World War II.
A short-term stock market sugar rush, not a long-term game changer. The US still controls the semiconductors, the foundational models, the research universities, the open culture that fuels.
Okay, the open culture, yes, but the research, I don't know if that's going to be the place where this comes from. Usually this comes from somewhere else. Let's keep going.
Actual breakthroughs. And most importantly, the Chinese AI is not exportable. Innovation that matters spreads globally.
True.
The iPhone wasn't just for Americans, it reshaped life in India and South Africa.
Okay.
Who outside China will build their company on DeepSeek,
Nobody.
knowing that every inquiry is logged, censored, and monitored by Beijing?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Well, it
A
depends if
product
it's
that can't
cheap or
cross border.
and maybe it's useful. Maybe we want to do like they do upgrade enough so you can do a checkout stand guy where he's like the order over the that knows not to. When they hear water cup 55 times, they don't get 55 water cups. All that stuff. Like the work the kinks out of it. Like, yeah, maybe useful for that. But like figuring out, like asking political questions, historical questions, I think all these things are going to be heavily censored. The whole thing's always censored. The thing is, you can go find it, but it takes such heroic levels of effort and concentration that it might as well be invisible.
Waters isn't a revolution. It's a trap. So let's call DeepSeek what it really is. A Franken model stitched together from stolen parts, plugged into banned chips,
Yeah.
wrapped in propaganda, and
Yeah.
sold as a revolution.
Yeah, okay.
At best,
yes.
it's a short-lived headline. At worst, it's a reminder that China's system can imitate but can never innovate.
Well, so refinement is a sort of innovation, but it's only in a certain direction, right? It's always going to get right. You're only going to get focused in more and more and more and more, or niched down more and more and more. You're never going to get like you're never going to get a true human reasoning model out of this type of thing, right? Because it's sort of like expecting an electric engine out of an internal combustion engine. It's like, yes, there's rotating things, there's things moving around, there's energy sources, but the whole thing is conceptually different. One's using this combustion stuff, one's using electricity, and batteries and all this other weird shit that has nothing to do with. I mean, we're doing changing energy transfers, but we're doing a whole different other thing. So you're never gonna get an electric motor from a combustion engine. So that was the point I think he's trying to make.
But here's where the story gets interesting. DeepSeek wasn't just a text theater, it was the match for a financial bonfire. Within 10 days of its release, AI concept stocks across China surged. Over 150 companies in 15 industries suddenly rebranded themselves as part of the AI ecosystem,
Yeah,
and returns soared more than 20%.
American did that too. So come on, that's we are living in a post-capitalist society where pumping your stock is pretty crucial.
In just a few weeks.
Look, man, if you don't pump your stock, someone else is going to pump their stock and you're going to lose. So what do you do as a CEO, CFO? Do you pump stock or do you take the high ground and leave it? Let that holy poly. It's like you're out of business now, buddy. Goodbye. You're done. Bye. So they got to pump it.
That's not innovation. That is narrative engineering, CCP's favorite export. And here's the kicker. It wasn't just tech startups chasing the hype. The state-owned enterprises in sectors like steel, shipping, even old-school energy companies that should be investing in their own industries, all scrambled to slap an AI sticker on their PowerPoint. Why? Because in today's China, juicing your stock price through speculation is safer and
Dude, America too, Ken. Let's not just blame China on this one. They got the good trick. They got the trick from us. So let's keep
more
going.
profitable than
Well, Britain really, or Dutch, maybe the Dutch, maybe whoever had the stock market first. I think it was Britain. Let's keep going.
actually building something. Real investment carries risk, but speculation, that pays instantly.
Yeah, I like people like fast payment. Don't you like to get paid fast? I like to get paid fast. Isn't America about getting fast money if we can? You better believe it. This is capitalism, but post-capitalism, whatever game we're playing. Let's keep going.
And the financial industry is no better. Brokerages, banks, and fund managers all pushing the AI concept.
They have to. They have to. And whatever comes up next, they're gonna do the next thing for that. DNA boosters. Like what? They're gonna do like what are the next one? What's after the AI thing? Anti-AI protection? Is there what humanoids only? What's the next boom? What's the next protection from the shit? Is that the next thing? The counter thing? The counter thing? Or is it some whole new thing? Oh, we're going to space. We figured out a way to get space. The AI figured it out. Now we're going to the moon. Now we're going to do business on the moon. We're selling plots of land on the moon. Is that what we're going to do? Something like that. And that'll be all kayfabe. Like, oh no, sorry, we found a weird glitch that the AI skipped, and yeah, we can't go to the moon now, and everybody's land prices just plummet. Some bullshit like that. Or we find out some weird gas up there that eats through the metal, and we can't stay there for more than 30 days.
They're pushing this because they believe in the
Something.
not because they believe in the technology, but because they need retail money flowing in.
Yeah. That's called a Ponzi scheme, right? And once we went to the fiat money, it's the pure fiat money. So the whole thing runs on this now. You have to be forever expanding exponentially, or you're gonna be left in the dust. And that's been the business model that's been fueling this whole thing. And that works if you have these technological pushes, like because they're now using the blaming AI. It's like AI, then they'll blame it. Oh, the AI bust, the bust, the AI failed us. And then there'll be some other pump. Because they have to pump it. They don't. Then they don't want it. Could even be just a fake pump, like the COVID thing, the Roni thing. That was a fake pump. And the AI is a fake pump. They have to have another fake pump. And it'll be like, are you people really falling for this? Is this really what? This AI is kind of cool, but is it really like worth trillions of dollars? Well, it may if they're gonna do robots, AI, humanoid robots, and they get rid of everybody. Yeah, let's do that right immediately. It should give you an idea how they really truly feel about us. Let's keep going.
Every pump means more commissions, more exits for insiders,
Yeah.
and more opportunities to dump garbage assets
Yes.
into unsuspecting investors.
Yes.
Ordinary shareholders.
This is a Ponzi. This is a clear indicators. And we've had these series of pumps that I'm putting money on that they're going to continue to pump it. They got the other models to cheat and lie to everybody. They got they have talking heads that just pay off, and they have humans that basically are robots that will say whatever they're told to have a buck or have a little bit of clout. That's our society now.
The so-called 韭菜, chives, meant to be cut and harvested They are once again footing the bill. Chinese investors, with their famously short memory spans, rushed in headfirst.
Well, it's not just them. There's always a new crop, man. There's always the people that thought they lost out on the last time, and then they get hyped up by all the stuff. They get hyped up by all the stuff, man. And they're not smart enough to look into it too far, so they put their life savings into it, and then people speculate on that. This is the financial phase of a pseudo capitalist society when they tethered fiat money from when they tethered it from gold. When they broke the money linked to gold, it was all game all over. Then that was when it actually ended. That was 1971 or 1913 if you want to do it domestically. In 1933 when the FDR stole the gold from people and didn't give it back, and it's like, how that's lawful money? What do you mean you can't have it? That was when it's like, okay, we just lost the Constitution. The Constitution's definitely over by now. And at that point, 1932, when FDR took the money, it's like, oh yeah, this is a Constitution thing. There's none of that shit. So when people keep talking about that, it's like, why do you keep talking about that? It's been over for a long, long time, like our grandparents' age.
I call it fast bull, slow bear. A few quarters of euphoria, followed by a decade of misery.
Right.
Oh, and it's not just SOEs and listed dinosaurs playing dress up. Chinese startups are even more desperate. The hottest pitch in Beijing right now isn't, we build something useful. It's, we're the DeepSeek of logistics, or the DeepSeek of healthcare. Just slap AI on your slide deck, sprinkle in a few screenshots of code,
Yeah.
and suddenly venture capitalists and those state-linked funds line up with checks.
Yes, they have to.
Some of these firms don't even bother to hide it. They openly shift their business model on paper to chase subsidies.
Yes.
The same way
This is people make millions of dollars doing this. This is the financial phase, and we must go through this phase before we get back to some sort of reality. And like, I don't know what that looks like, but usually these things fall over and we go back to some real value, like something hard asset. I think we'll still have internet and electricity and all that stuff, but I think people are going to lose trust in these fiat currencies, or it'll be sitting side by side. They'll be only there. You have to pay taxes. They'll still be there. You have to pay your tax, whatever. Or if you're still on that system, whatever you use that's still in the tax system, you're gonna have to pay tax on that, and that's gonna go to them. But there'll be another side thing. It's like, yeah, we're not gonna do any of that. That we all agree, like we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna be me and you doing business with each other, and we're not really gonna include them at all in anything. We're not even gonna talk about them. We're just gonna do it with ourselves. And I say that's probably what's that decentralized thing. I think that's just by necessity because all these systems are gonna fail. Like, yeah, I got my Social Security kit. It was $60,000, but it only buys me, 2 loaves of bread. This has happened many times.
everyone rushed into EVs 5 years ago. Remember that bubble? Factories making scooters, appliances, even fireworks suddenly claim they were new energy vehicle suppliers just to grab the government funding.
Yes.
Billions went up in smoke,
Yes.
and most of those so-called EV firms have vanished. And now it's the same playbook, just with AI.
And there'll be
Subsidy.
and there'll be one after this. They have to. They are even if they're coming to there's 6 more cycles down the end. They're gonna have to do it again because I think they're gonna they can keep this fiat dollar going for a long time because they're gonna try and exact taxes and they're gonna do thug tactics. They're gonna use thug tactics to extract those taxes. So they're gonna get more and more ruthless, and they're gonna become a tipping point where people are like, nah, we don't really do that here. So our guys say you're gonna have to leave the area, and that's when it's gonna come to an head, and that's when we're gonna have anti-drone. These local decentralized communities are gonna have to have anti-drone technology to deal with these drone strikes. So, but that's what, maybe 20 years from now, 15 years from now. I don't know. It could happen faster than not.
Hunting has become a business model. Real R&D takes years and costs money. But
And there's high risk, and you don't know if it's gonna succeed. Usually, it fucking fails.
claiming you are part of the DeepSeek ecosystem, that is an instant valuation growth, instant subsidies, instant investor hype.
Right, because you're supporting another thing that's like, it's not this AI model thing. It's this, we're relying on the state sponsored stuff, so it's going to do the state sponsored messages, and that goes along with the party, which is exactly how CCP runs their shit. It's like you go along with what they're doing and you'll be rewarded. You don't go along with what they're doing, you are not rewarded. That's a Chinese system. It's kind of pseudo. It's like semi-capitalist, semi-party. But when the party puts it out there, you go, okay, we're doing that because that's when you know you'll be paid. If you don't do that, you're like, I don't like that. Well, you're not gonna be paid. Sit back down. Go back to the rice field. If you don't like it. And that's what this is. This is the message.
The result? A startup landscape distorted beyond recognition, where founders spend more time bragging themselves as AI related
Right.
than actually innovating.
Correct.
Once again,
Because that's what the CCP wants, and this is what Wall Street wants. This is what these financiers want. They're all salespeople. I don't know if you knew the people on Wall Street are not these like neutral parties. They are salespeople too. In this system of fiat currency, everybody involved has to be selling hard because it's moving up all the time. It's devalued. The currency is being devalued all the time. So you have to be moving up. You can't just say stasis. You have these. We're on. Everybody's on a escalator. If you just try and stand off and go walk, you walk. It's gonna be hard, but if you don't do the selling thing, you're basically walking, and you're gonna be walking up the stairs. You're gonna get tired. Where the guy in the escalator is just making sales calls. He's just that's a fiat. That's a fiat system, and it did eventually. They always all unwind, and I think ours is coming to an end. But I don't know what that looks like because I thought this was people were talking about this 20, 30 years ago that this is totally unsustainable. It's like, yeah, but since 1971, can't they just print it unlimited and they just fool everybody thinking that they're still back with gold? They go, we're gonna go into Fort Knox and we're gonna do an audit. We're gonna do an audit of Fort Knox. It's like that doesn't tie to anything. Yes, it's great to have that the government has an asset that they can maybe use. But we ever hear the audit? No, just kind of. But people think, oh well, money is backed by gold and silver. It's in the Constitution. Did you read it? Did you read the Constitution? Gold and silver is the only money you can use. People say that shit. It's like, yeah, but when they're gonna bank run, it's like, but the money they can print it for free. So I made some money. It's a lot of money at one point, and I went into the bank. I wanted to switch banks. I wanted to do it. I wanted to see if I could do it in cash, and I had like 100 grand in the bank. I was like, yeah, I want to take all of it out. They're like, oh, you're gonna have to give us some notice on that, and you're gonna have to fill out these forms. Like, what are you forms? Yeah, if you take more than 10 grand out, you gotta fill all these forms out. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. It's like, well, that's the laws. It's like, huh? So even if you wanted to go in and take all your money out, you're gonna have to wait a couple days to get the shipment in. We might have an agent have to talk to you. That's a lot of cash. That's a lot of cash to have out there.
the only guaranteed outcome is that insiders get rich, while ordinary investors and taxpayers pay the price.
Correct, and that we always do. What in a Ponzi scheme system? You think that the investors are going to be the ones that they think about? Really? And the taxpayer. I think about the tax. Have you considered the taxpayer? Have you ever heard the word taxpayer out of these politicians' mouth? Maybe the right wing ones are the ones who give him lip service as they sign the check. The taxpayer's name. Hey, I fought it the best I could, but in the end, bipartisanship. Well, I had to stick with the party, so I had to agree with it. Put the great grandchildren, in total poverty. Sorry, we had to do it. It was democracy.
Now, the deeper problem? AI can't fix what's broken. Confidence in China has collapsed. Consumer confidence, money supply,
Right.
foreign investment are all in freefall.
Right.
Deflation is entrenched, shelves are full, demand is dead, and consumer prices have been
But they'll have another hype wave. Don't worry, they'll come up with something.
slashed. That is the
Maybe a war. War usually is a pretty good idea right around now. Usually do war or a fake one. People think like these wars like, oh, devastating. It's like, no, we can have a war and nobody actually dies. We can just have all kinds of property destroyed and maybe a few deaths here and there, but nothing like these World War II deaths. Just like enough to pump everything back up again, right?
depression with Chinese characteristics. Property has imploded. Once the crown jewel, real estate is now radioactive. Combined with toxic stocks, it is a double crash. And let's add one more, jobs. Every year, China spits out nearly 12 million new college graduates. They studied engineering, business, law, and they're entering a job market that is a wasteland. Can AI absorb them? No chance. AI in China is
Gonna get rid of them. That's kind of. I don't know if you read the books, but they're pretty proud of it. You have to be a PhD level, thesis level historian to understand what the hell they're saying half the time because they convoluted in those convoluted like language to make it pontificate and obfuscate. Like, they just talking this flowery, like talk about tragedy and hope. Carol Quigley, the most dry, bone dry, like you definitely have to have an IQ of above 120 just to even like start to read that piece of thing and to finish it and understand it. You're talking about decades. Like, you have to, there's all this contextual knowledge, tacit knowledge. You have to understand, like, the innuendos he's talking about, the Anglo-American, British banking empire, seafaring, war power, war enterprise empire. Let's keep going.
isn't creating broad employment. It's replacing routine white-collar tasks, squeezing margins,
Yeah.
and funneling whatever value remaining to a handful of state-favored firms.
Correct.
So what happens? You get a generation of full-time children and lying flat youth,
Yeah.
educated,
That's good to expect.
jobless, and demoralized.
Yeah. Why would?
And the AI hype might move stock prices, but it doesn't move the unemployment line.
Correct.
And if an AI revolution leaves tens of millions of grads with no work, that's not a revolution. That is a social
Well, kind of it is. Let's keep going.
time bomb.
Well, yeah. It definitely is social time bomb, but this is all. I wonder if Ken's looked into the tragedy and hope. I wonder if he's looked into that in the British. I mean, I'm sure he's aware of it, but I don't know if he's gone down the freaking rabbit hole in that thing because it's a deep one. I don't recommend it to anybody, but if you really want to know what they have to say, that's it's all right there. They're proud of it.
So Beijing manufactures good assets by hype. Today it's DeepSeek. Tomorrow, who knows?
Let's be something.
Maybe Baijiu, the Chinese liquor, semiconductors, EVs, rockets. They've all had their turn
I
already.
think they're gonna do something to do with like either war or something to do with the moon. Like, they're gonna have some sort of breakthrough. China's gonna have some sort of breakthrough. Like, we figured out how we can get there cheap and easy and fast and safe. And they start putting 5,000 people on the moon. They're all split up their plots and going, if you want to, hey, come and take it if you want. And then the whole thing, oh my God, we can't lose the moon to China.
None changed the fundamentals. And here's the blunt truth. China is a periphery state in the global system. Real breakthroughs are born in core. The US, the places with freedom to fail and freedom to dream.
Right. Well,
In a periphery,
we did have that. Hopefully it'll come back. I mean, it's usually this freedom to fail and freedom to dream stuff is like under duress, under a massive pressure. Like, it's just a pressure cooker. Sometimes it was always like when the government pushed it was always for their nefarious purpose of like, oh, we're gonna kick somebody else's ass, and we're gonna have more power after that, be empire. Okay, well, maybe we can have a non-governmental human thing. It'll probably have to be this decentralized. It's probably already happening. Let's keep going.
what you get is diffusion. Borrowed tech,
Right.
dressed up as original,
Correct.
and spun into a financial bubble.
Right.
And this isn't just my opinion, it's backed by history.
Yeah.
Stanford historian Ian Morris, in his book, The Measure of Civilization, showed that no society in human history has ever jumped straight from hunting and gathering into modern industry.
Correct.
Every society that modernized did so by absorbing the advances of a more developed empire.
Right.
The industrial age didn't spread evenly like sunlight.
Correct.
It spread like a fungus.
Right.
Center first and then outward.
Right.
And that's why the 20th century world converged on Western technology.
Right. Well, it wasn't just the tech. It was also how we structured the social thing, what we put emphasis on, what we leveraged, what we had intelligence operatives setting up agendas. This is the British stuff. A big part of this British stuff is intelligence operations, which look like social movements and ideologies and ways of thinking about the religions. These are all part of this whole thing. Theatrics. What looks like one thing is really something else. And you're not going to see by looking at it really closely, you're not going to see what it is until you like pull back and go, see this trend. Like, oh, this is how that links in. It's not just this little blippy thing. It's a measured. It's a program. Let's keep going.
Once Europe crossed the fossil fuels threshold, modernization everywhere else became inevitable.
Right.
But inevitable doesn't mean equal. The core invents and the periphery copies.
Right.
The US produces the chips, the internet, the iPhone. China mass produces them cheaper
Right.
and more efficiently.
Correct.
But never from zero.
Right.
So
Well, I mean, we didn't get it from zero either. I mean, it was a long, hard road of a lot of war, a lot of death, a lot of killing, a lot, and we had lots of different experiments and lots of different things that got people killed. Lots of uses of stuff that was maybe not the nicest that we all had to go through and go, okay, maybe we could settle our differences in a different way. Maybe we don't have to slaughter each other. Maybe we could come to a different, some sort of other agreement. And that lasts for a while, and then people get sick of that, and then you start killing each other again. Yeah, if we have it, like, if the culture hasn't gone through some of that shit, and they think they can just be number one on top and just be, oh, we're number one on top. It's like, you're probably not going to do that for long, man. You're probably not going to do that. So you're going to have to work with us. And we're going to have some sort of agreement about what our basic morals, basic beliefs are. And that only happens over thousands of years. Let's keep going.
Beijing shouts, overtaking the West. It's not destiny. It's pure marketing. And the moment Washington cuts the cord, bans chips,
Right.
lock those model access,
Correct.
slap tariffs, the periphery stalls,
Right.
the diffusion ends,
Right.
and what's left isn't revolution. It's a bubble waiting to pop.
Yeah.
So
And
let's
that starts wars. Let's keep going.
call DeepSeek what it really is. Not a Sputnik moment, but a scam moment.
Yeah.
A propaganda tool wrapped in stolen code,
There we go.
hyped into a financial frenzy,
Yeah.
while the real economy sinks deeper into deflation and despair.
Right.
China doesn't have an AI revolution. It has an AI bubble.
Yeah.
And like every bubble before
Yeah.
it will end the same way.
Yeah.
With silence, regret, and a lot of fast bulls
Yeah.
burned alive in a very, very long bear market.
Yeah. Yeah. He's right. I agree. I agree. This hype. Well, I don't know. They've been getting lucky with these hype cycles. I'm just gonna say they've been getting lucky. They may pull another one out, but I just don't see it. I mean, if you see something, let me know in the comments below. But like, what I see is war, destroying a bunch of crap just to build back up again. All right, that's about it for me. And give me a like and subscribe and all that baloney.